Hello everyone, this is Serious Trivia. Welcome back to another episode of our Dynasty Warrior 8 Extreme Legend with the Wu story mode, continuing with the Battle of Hefei. Now last time we fought the Battle of Jin, which was mistaken by me to be a later real historical battle, but it turns out the one they have in game is rather fictional. And now we have returned to 215, the Battle of Hefei, technically the second Battle of Hefei. Now there were about 6 different attempts at assaulting Hefei. This one probably being the most famous, because this is the one that Sun Quan blotched the most, where he almost died, and we'll be experiencing this firsthand. So let's jump into it and see how the game presents itself. Wu was unable to best Guan Yu in battle, nor was it able to retake the Jin province. That battle never happened. There was negotiation and also some stealing of land, and they rearranged the Jin province. And as many people have commented about the borrowing of the Jin province, please note, there was never historically a borrowing of the Jin province. That is something that is completely fictional, and it has been spread so much in popular culture that people think it's a real thing. It was never a real thing. If you think about it, what right does Sun Quan have to expand? Right? He's a regional lord who is quote-unquote loyal to the court up until close to 217 to even 217 he would be still technically loyal to the court, and around 220, after all the other 2 powers have became kingdoms, he decided to crown himself the emperor. But before that point, he really had no jurisdiction right to expand, and so there's no reason why he should be able to even have a right over the Jin province, not least to say borrow it. So we have the Battle of Hefei here. This one is the version in 215, although I'm pretty sure the game will be pretty flexible in terms of which historical piece they want to use. They could use different events from different Hefei battles, but this one's super well known because at 215, Cao Cao was focused on the west. His main armies was in Hanzhong, doing battle with Liu Bei. And Sun Quan thought this was the moment for Wu, because Hefei was a key fortress on a river that was crucial to transporting supplies into the Xu province. So if Sun Quan wanted to move north, technically northeast into the Central Plains, he would need to take this fortress. And this city is a rather new city. Obviously Hefei has always been around, but it was always just a small village on this river. And before the Battle of Chibi even, Cao Cao sent an administrator down here to construct a new set of walls for the city, because it became apparent with the way the land holding was set up that Cao Cao would need a defensive fortress for the rest of the Xu province, slightly north in the Central Plains, and Hefei was picked as this site because it's a crucial location for transporting food and supplies through the riverways as Sun Quan's forces would move up. And after this fortress was built, Cao Cao left 3 generals to defend this location. The number seems high, but there's not that much men with this force, about a few thousand at most. And the leading general for this mission was Zhang Liao, and helping him was Li Dian and Yue Jin. So these 3 should not appear anywhere else. They have been guarding here for a long time. And between these 3, there's an interesting dynamic as well. Li Dian and Zhang Liao did not get along, sort of similar to the Wu story side of Ling Tong and Gan Ning. They had a personal issue. It was not clear historically what the issue was, but they definitely were not the friendliest companions. And when Cao Cao left them to defend this, he left them a pouch with a plan. If they get attacked, if things look, desperate, open it up and see what's in it. And when Sun Quan arrived with 100,000 men to attack this city, with at most, I think 4,000 would be a fair number for the city, they felt this was the desperate time to open up the pouch. And inside, there was this plan that says, when the enemy arrives, have Zhang Liao and Li Dian charge out and attack the enemy before they are ready. And this was kind of strange when they first saw it, because not only are they weak, they should just try to defend, they send out Zhang Liao and Li Dian who did not get along. And the reason why Cao Cao made this decision after you think about it, is he did not want to leave one person with a grudge back in the city, right? Yue Jin staying behind would be objective in terms of when the generals outside need help and, not screw the other guy over, essentially. So Zhang Liao and Li Dian led a charge at Sun Quan's men before they would even arrive, and they are marching up to the city, and Sun Quan has a very bad habit of deploying incorrectly, and this is highlighted extremely well in this battle. So what I mean by this is there are multiple ways of arriving towards Hefei. There's river routes and there's land route with bridges. Obviously, with the army this size, you have to bring a lot of food. So a large portion of the army is moving alongside the river route protecting the food. The reason why this is a key location is because transporting food is a pain, right? You not only have to bring food enough for your march, you also have to bring more food as you siege. And back then, with the technology limitations of siege weapons, sieging takes a long time. So oftentimes it's a race between food supplies. And when you have the bigger army, you have to bring more food. Now you might think, perhaps you can loot from the surrounding. Well, Cao Cao put in a very strong policy of migrating the local population north. So at this time, between Hefei and the Wu fortress at Xurukou, which we will fight next battle, there was basically no civilians living in this land. So there was no farm being tended to, there was no food you can loot off the land. And pretty much this policy will continue across the Jin province. So essentially from the north of the Yangtze River on Cao Cao's side for the Kingdom of Wei, there would be no civilian zone all the way east from the Xu province, stretching through the Yang province, all the way towards the Jin province. They migrated everyone away to the north. There was plenty of land in the north after the war-torn Han Dynasty later periods, from Yellow Turban Rebellion, Dong Zhuo's takeover, for them to till the land. He basically forced families to move to create this no-man land that the enemy cannot loot from. So the biggest challenge for Sun Quan when he wants to attack north is he has to bring enough food. And because you have to bring enough food, the only place you can realistically attack is Hefei. And that's why Hefei was so important. And if you think about the reason why, if it's not so apparent, is if you have to move the food on land, you have to provide a huge army to protect it and to transport it even, right? Each horse carriage can only carry so much, or horse cart. And when you have a huge army protecting and carrying it, the army that's moving with it also has to eat. And this is a cost that no one really think about, but even back during the Han Dynasty, this was very apparent for the courts when they argued whether to keep the West or not. Because if you do the math, which was done during the Han Dynasty, moving food to the front line in the northern parts of China, northeast and straight north, when they were fighting the Xiongnu, for every 1 bushel of grain that they want to end up in the hand of the troops, they have to bring 19 more for the transport team. So as you move through, 19 of 20 pieces of food is going to go to the transport team. And then only 1/20th of the food will end up for the army at the destination, because transportation obviously was slow, especially on land. When you change that into the water, it becomes very different. You can have a trail of boats with little pellets behind, stacked with food, and you only need so many men on the boats and on the land escorting it, and it becomes a lot cheaper. And this is why places like Hefei became a key point of contention, because you need to control the waterways to be able to reduce the cost of food for these wars. And this is not to mention the wars out west, when they did the number, was like 1 to 37 if you wanted to send food towards the Liao province, which is why all the Liao rebellions, different variants and versions of them, was extremely costly to the Han Empire. And that's why many of the scholars at court even argued abandoning this land, because, if you want to send even one piece of grain to that frontier, you have to spend at least 38 pieces of grain, and that cost is just super high. Not to mention, if your supply team gets raided and gets attacked, it's a massive amount of food lost. Regardless, Sun Quan's issue back to that after talking about food, is he would lead the army in the front when they arrive, without the bulk of his force. So when Zhang Liao's team came out, Sun Quan was caught in the enemy fire. He was not expecting to get attacked because he felt like he had this grand army coming up with him, and the terrain around this river-heavy area is filled with bridges and small sections, and Sun Quan got caught off guard. They got beaten back. Morale was hit pretty hard. But of course, they were able to regroup with that big army, and the siege started. And after sieging it for a few months, Sun Quan realized he didn't bring enough food, and the city with high walls and great defensive setup was not going to be taken. So he called for a retreat. And during the retreat, he made another deployment mistake that he sent the main army off first, and he and generals stayed behind. Now, the Wu army structure is very different from the Wei army structure because they didn't hold the imperial court, right? We talked about no authority in owning land. So they didn't give out exact general titles to a lot of their officers because they couldn't, right? They're not a kingdom yet. So you can't just say you're the general of the cavalry. There is a general of cavalry already named out by the court. So if you do that, you're essentially performing, like, acting with a treasonous act. So they had to give like different weird titles, and they gave kind of value to those titles by allowing you to keep personal armies. So each of the general here would have their personal army, and the size of that army kind of determined your rank, and that's how the Wu system worked. So at the time, let's say Ling Tong had 300 men under his command. That was kind of his rank. He's quite lowly ranked. He's kind of popular here in the game, but only reason he's slightly significant in the historical sense is his father, Ling Cao, died fighting not just Ganning but Huangzu, helping the Sun family avenge their father's death. So he kind of inherited his father, but because of his youth, he didn't get that many men. Like, for example, Ganning I think had 800 at this time. He was quite prized and he surrendered over, so they gave him a much better treatment. And some of the highest ranked Wu officers from the earlier periods of Sun Ce's campaign, that's when they told them how many men was under their command. I think it didn't update later on, but perhaps it's higher. But like people like Cheng Pu started out with 2,000 men under their command. So you can see the difference here between the quality of the roster. But speaking of Ling Tong and 300 men, we're actually going to be playing as him because this is really the last significant battle he will be part of. He dies in 217 after a recruitment mission, sort of recruiting new troops in the mountains in the south. He dies of disease on the way back. His 300 men will play a huge role because at the end, when they were retreating and the main army left and we had a couple officers with their private armies staying behind, Zhang Liao and Li Dian saw that the main army has left past one of the main bridges. But Sun Quan's force, for no particular reason, was lagging behind. So Li Dian raced out ahead from like a side path to destroy the bridge where Sun Quan has to go through to meet up with the main army. And Zhang Liao's main force charged out from the center of the encampment to attack Sun Quan's army. Now, Zhang Liao only brought out about 1,000 men. He didn't want to risk, leaving. I mean, I think story says 800 usually, but roughly that number. He didn't want to risk, getting attacked outside and then the rest of the fortress leaving undefended and get sieged. Maybe it's a feigned retreat. So this 800 men, let's say, went in there and almost killed Sun Quan. They didn't know what Sun Quan looked like. That was a key thing. And at the time, the Wu officers knew very well who Sun Quan was, and they just threw themselves into Zhang Liao to try to protect Sun Quan's escape. And I believe Gan Ning is going to personally cover Sun Quan's escape as they went to the broken bridge, and they were able to leap. I think Gan Ning gave his horse to Sun Quan. Oh, actually, no, I think that's... I'm actually trying to remember this part, but I think he and Gan Ning did go to the bridge. I don't know if Ling Tong's the one who gave up his horse. No, I think Ling Tong was fighting at this time. I think Gan Ning actually gave up his horse, stabbed it, and helped Sun Quan jump the bridge. And that's how Sun Quan escaped. I think he swam. He's a river pirate. He's fine. Ling Tong stayed behind with his 300 to fight and cover Sun Quan's escape. In the end, all 300 died. Ling Tong lived. Ling Tong was severely injured, and he took off his armor, used it as a flotation device, and jumped into the river. And he dived under, so the arrows can't get him. Most of the Wu officers are really good swimmers, just because of how they grew up. And he was able to swim back to camp. Sun Quan thought he was dead, so he was very surprised when he saw Ling Tong, make it. Treated him. He survived this battle and his wounds, and he doubled his men. So private army size went up to 600 after this, because he was very sad. He lost his, essentially buddies. When you have a private army, you're very close to your men. So that was the disaster of Hefei. Come in with an army 25 times the enemy size, leave almost dead, right? Because afterward, there were prisoners, right? There were Wu officers who, or not officers, but troops who couldn't escape because the bridge was destroyed. And Zhang Liao asked them, which one Sun Quan? And Sun Quan, at least in romance, was described with this kind of purplish beard, and I guess just discolored beard, I guess. And they told him that the person with the purplish beard was Sun Quan, and Zhang Liao was like, man, we saw him on the battlefield. We could have had him. But regardless, this was the first battle where Zhang Liao's name just became so great in the south. Like, the description is, if a baby hears Zhang Liao's name, they would stop crying at night. The fear that he put into the Wu army with such a small force, beating back the Wu, to the point where when we go to the last battle of Hefei, which I doubt is in the game, it's about 20 years in the future at this point, close to 20 years, Zhang Liao was on his deathbed. Zhang Liao had retired. Zhang Liao was, kind of sick at the time. Cao Cao is dead. Cao Pi is the emperor. And news came that Sun Quan was mustering up an army to attack Hefei again, hearing that Zhang Liao had retired. That was the motive of that attack. And when that happened, this isn't 20 years. This attack would be 6 years after this, right? Zhang Liao is old. Cao Cao is dead. Cao Pi just became emperor, and Zhang Liao is on his sickbed. Cao Pi sent his personal doctors to Zhang Liao. He visited him himself in the camp that Zhang Liao was at, and they spoon-fed him, the medicine every day, and then they kind of ferried him back to Hefei. And Zhang Liao wanted to go back too. Zhang Liao was very attached to defending Hefei. And when Sun Quan heard Zhang Liao's back, the attack was pretty much called off, and Zhang Liao died not soon after. Zhang Liao's family, super treasured in Wu. His mother, everyone had titles. After Zhang Liao was dead, he was allowed to have his nameplate, or basically, in China, there's the ancestor worship, ideal. So you not only have a tomb, you have this little, almost like a tombstone, but it's made of wood. It's very small. You keep it at your home, or you keep it in your temple to pray to them periodically when you can't make it to the tomb, which is normal. You don't sweep tomb every day. And when Zhang Liao died, he was buried, obviously, with his family, but his little wooden tombstone was put in Cao Cao's temple alongside Cao Cao, so that Cao Cao's descendant, when they go pray at Cao Cao, they would also have to pray at Zhang Liao. That's how significant he was to the kingdom of Wu, mainly because of his contributions in Hefei. He was also excellent against the Wu Huan, which happened way earlier than this, but that's a different story. So let's jump in here and play as Ling Tong. We would need to equip some stuff. I don't think we have any good Sanjie Gun or 3-section staff. Now the 3-section staff is very Chinese. The nunchucks is not Chinese weapon. It's not Japanese either. I think it's like a Philippines weapon traditionally. Obviously Bruce Lee made it super famous, but it is not a Chinese origin. The 3-segmented staff, or Sanjie Gun here, is actually a Chinese weapon. Now let's bring some skills. Just the typical, and let's start battle.
I suppose I can muster up the strength for another battle. My lord, are you sure about this? I know we are in an alliance, but this attack on Hefei
is entirely to their benefit, I know. They probably have their sights set on Hanzhong. It does not matter. If we must include Liu Bei in order to destabilize Cao Cao, then so be it.
I see. Give and take, as they say.
Though, I must admit, I don't like the fact that we are doing the giving first.
Just so long as we can call in the favor later.
Ha! Who cares about the details? Just point me at the fighting and let me charge into the fray.
Ha! You hothead. How about trying to use that brain of yours for once?
Actually, Gan Ning makes a good point. The enemy defense is being led by Zhang Liao himself. Both determination and focus will be required to win.
True enough. It will take the full might of Wu to achieve victory.
Alright, so that's Taishi Ci, who in the romance dies in this battle, but historically he died already. He died of sickness, was not this grand death. Let's visit all the privates. Believe me, I can't tell what's going on in Lord Sun Quan's mind right now. After he's taken Yang Province, he's gonna speak to Lady Lian Shi again. It'll be romantic. Lady Lian Shi isn't here today either. That's too bad. Now Lian Shi's uncle, Lian Zhi, Bu Zhi, right? Her name is Bu Lian Shi. Lian is not her surname. Bu Zhi, her uncle, is gonna be quite an officer for Wu and official as well. Oh, Xiaoshi Bridge only means a retreat. There's multiple bridges, but that's the main one, and that's the one that's going to get targeted. Yeah, because Sun Quan decided to make most of the army leave first. The enemy's Zhang Liao is a fearsome man. He once fought under the infamous Lu Bu. They say he can silence a crying child with one glare. After this battle. Whatever you do, don't fall off the bridge. It's a pain trying to get back up. So yeah, they're trying to make Wu the good guys here, obviously, since we're playing the Wu story mode. Liu Bei obviously is attacking the main Cao Cao army, while Sun Quan is picking on a 4,000 force. And of course, if Sun Quan wins here, and Liu Bei keeps Cao Cao over there, then Sun Quan will have a pretty easy move up north in towards the capital. Well, you know, Cao Cao's main force would be still fighting Liu Bei, so I don't know how you can argue that they're giving first. You know, they're only attacking this because Liu Bei is fighting Cao Cao's main force. Hefei's area with rivers. As such, it has many garrison and bridges which allow it to be defended easily. Wait, that means the enemy has advantage. Now he's starting to get nervous. Well, this is the reason why you're attacking this, because you can get food supplies over here pretty easily. Master Taishi Ci is a very loyal officer. He'll do anything for his lord. Just the other day he said, I'll gladly give my life to protect Sword Sun Quan. Oh, Chen Wu. I think Chen Wu also dies here. I think Chen Wu dies in that first attack when Zhang Liao charges out. Sun Lang. I said stab, not tickle. Sun Quan's cousin, I think. Oh no, Sun Quan's brother, younger brother, Sun Lang. In the long run, this battle was important to secure Hanzhong. If anything goes well, we can. So Lu Meng's obviously supposed to be on the western front. He's, you know, holding down the Jin province. Not everyone can be here. Everyone excited Lord Sun Quan himself will be fighting. We'll take Hefei easily. Well, that was the plan. Oh, Song Qian. It's been some time since Lord Sun Quan passed away. Only could help. He's a surrendered officer from Yuan Shu's day, I think. Not particularly important. Master Ling Tong still resent Gan Ning. Well, yeah, the guy killed your father. It's kind of hard to forgive him for that. They do eventually get along after Gan Ning saves Ling Tong's life. What was the enemy's guy's name? Zhang Liao or something? I hear he's supposed to be quite a warrior. Sounds like this is going to get interesting. Yeah, Gan Ning is going to be Sun Quan's attempt to match Zhang Liao. It's like if Zhang Liao is Captain America and, you know, Gan Ning is going to be casted as the Soviet version that was in Black Widow, which, and I know it's a joke, but Gan Ning is pretty capable, but basically you prop one up to try to give your guy some morale. If we capture Hefei, we strengthen Shouchun's defense. It'll be a good way to fortify Wu base. Now, is Shouchun technically under Wu's influence right now? I don't think so. I think Shouchun's slightly west and north of Hefei, actually. And should be under Wu's influence. Alright, we can check out the shop because our weapon's really bad. You know what? We'll spin this just because I don't want to use tier 1 weapons for both of them at this point. It just feels really, really bad. How do I pull up officer? There we go. Slight upgrade over here. Not something amazing, but should enable more combos. Alright, let's go. Wait, did we miss one? Missed 2. Zhang, Master Lu Su succumbed to his illness. It happened right after the retreat from Jin province. First Master Zhou Yu, now Master Lu Su. The weight Master Lu Mo must bear now is heavier than ever. Su Fei, if only Master Zhou Yu had not fallen in Nanjun. But don't worry guys, more people will die in this battle. Look at that guy right there leading it. Every guy we talk to before we go. and then Chen Wu over here is also going to die historically. And I almost died. The warrior guarding Hefei Castle, Zhang Liao, has made a name for himself in this chaos. The enemy forces are small, but that does not mean this will be an easy victory. But that's why I'm so excited. Having the chance to face a true warrior is worth risking your life. Now let's go. Let's give this fight our all.
We outnumber the enemy to an overwhelming extent. Let us bring this battle to a close as quickly as possible. My unit will head straight for Hefei Castle. In the meantime, everyone else should secure the central base.
Alright, we're just gonna go fight Generals Manchuo.
Should you really
Okay.
be leading the attack, my lord? Isn't it somewhat dangerous?
Morale is greatly increased when I am leading the line.
And greatly
We must
decreased when you
finish
get
this battle
whooped
before the
and had to run for your life.
reinforcements arrive.
Listen up. Don't make life difficult for us today, alright? Your dumb moves have gotten us in enough trouble in the past.
Oh, he stuns you.
You're moaning. It's not like you've covered yourself in glory of late.
Alright, let's just try a basic one.
Noticed, Master Sun Tzu. Master Sun Quan has
It's a
become
single
quite
target.
warrior.
Okay, we should have aimed better.
That is why I will put my life on the line for him. He is the one
stun is nice, though.
True path, Master.
Perfect timing. I was looking for an opportunity to test my new tactics.
Ooh, so many good stuff. Open up. Yeah, the better weapon and more combo options of MP. These guys will eventually guard Hefei after Zhang Liao's death, and there will be stories with them how they defeated Sun Quan, because it's pretty embarrassing every time.
I'll let you go
Alright,
for now.
got the
Don't
counter
think you
kill.
won.
Wow, somebody even
Should I go
lazier than
back
I am.
and take care of some of the...
Well done.
I'll stay with Sun Quan. I'm supposed to guard him if things goes bad.
Appears that resistance
Zhang
is
Hu,
futile.
minor officer.
Now's our chance.
Whoa,
Divide the enemy in two.
Yue Jin. Okay, Yue Jin's supposed to be here.
This battle is mine. I shall cut off the enemy's escape.
Wait, Liu Xun is... This is Liu Zhang's son. Why is he here?
Was he lurking outside the castle this whole time? I can't believe I simply walked into the enemy's trap like that. Still, it's not over yet. Our first priority is Zhang Liao. Advance from the west and take him out.
Our allies are in need of our assistance.
Cheng Yu.
We must make our way to them quickly.
Unfortunately, Cao Cao didn't leave Cheng Yu here with, Zhang Liao. Cheng Yu needs to stay next to Cao Cao. Oh, he's behind. Okay.
Enemy officers are rapidly advancing on our main camp. They look rather formidable.
If we don't do something, our camp doesn't stand a chance. I only hope that
Get a
everyone is
horse.
all right.
It was my duty to defend the camp, and I failed. Forgive me, my lord.
Who's outside? Cheng Yu. Okay. Very smart strategist, but definitely not worth his, worth on the battlefield.
Casualties if we continue
Gave him a
fighting.
spear too.
All units, retreat.
He does have a lot of grapple move with his feet.
There's no way you can win
Alright, who's in this camp?
Blast! I can't believe this is happening to us.
Sun Quan's trying to move
This
back.
is no
He's too
time for
fast.
self-pity. Come on, we've got to protect our lord.
You're right.
I'm just trying to get kills over
Be
here.
protected at all costs.
Let's try a jump Musu.
It appears that resistance is futile.
It's just a slam. Okay.
How could my tactics fail like that?
Let's get our horse back. Horse. There we go. Sorry, boys. No time for you guys. At least Sun Quan's still in a safe place. I don't see Zhang Liao on the map actually anymore. Unless his circle changed from a commanding circle to like a different circle. But we're coming. My lord, allow me. Open this gate for you. Trap? They closed the gate right after we came in. There we go.
Keep it up.
Alright, who's in trouble over here? Jiang Ji. Okay, versus who? Oh, it's a flood.
Sir, are you all right?
开始
I'm
死
sorry, Master Sun
中
Quan.
和 Okay.
I wasn't strong enough.
Let's just bash them with the jump Musu real quick.
Stupid pride that our
And then let's see if we can grapple him with our feet. Yes, we can!
There are still some allied forces in the main camp and the southern base. We must find a way to help them.
I'm going to have your head.
Did you think I'd let you get away?
You sure know how to fight.
Oh?
Sun Quan, your head is now mine.
Never. Master Sun Quan, please, live on.
That was my job!
Taishitsu! Taishitsu!
I was supposed to,
This Zhang Liao.
you know, double my manpower by sacrificing myself. Well, not die, but like, put myself out there.
You came to rescue us, despite the danger. How can I ever repay you?
You need to get out of here, quickly. We'll be right behind you.
Stop guarding, Sun Quan needs me. I mean, if Zhang Liao knew what Sun Quan looked like, I'm pretty sure he could have killed him. Ooh, that was a cool combo.
I'll let you go for now. Don't
Okay,
think
got the
you
kill. Let's move, let's move.
Wow, somebody even lazier than I am.
won't. Amazing.
Alright.
You sure know how to
Zhang Liao, we're gonna be saving this for you.
Come and face me.
Better give it my all.
I didn't think you'd have this much strength remaining. You haven't seen the last of me.
Also, also not here.
Taishitsu, forgive me. I have to stay alive.
Sun Quan's just like, Chengpu, you stay here. I'm gonna leave.
Taishitsu died.
Chengpu died of old age already. He died soon after it should be, so he shouldn't be here either.
You came to help us.
He's fought enough for Wu. Been around since the Yellow Turban days under Sun Jian, so
You will lend me a
let
hand?
the old man die
I am
in
your
peace.
debt.
We cannot hold out for much longer.
Yang Qin. Wait, Xu Huang is not here, but okay.
We won't be able to
We will fight him.
otherwise.
Xu Huang's not that highly ranked, to be honest.
I'm so ashamed.
Mainly worked under
It's
Cao
my
Ren.
fault that I ended up surrounded by the enemy.
Can you stop blocking? You can't block your head, right? There we go.
They're gone. What are we going to do now?
Someone, please, help us!
Our engineers have been captured. We've got to rescue
I can
every
Musu
last
as
one of
well.
them.
Break your Musu.
We have to go and rescue the engineers.
I killed him.
They'll be
I killed
able
him.
to provide us with ladders.
I did it. I did it. All right, let's go back. Find the
Thank
other
you very
general.
much. We'll go and prepare the ladders immediately.
Ah, Sun Quan wants to escape. Jia Xu's also here.
Our lord is late. Still, there's no way we're escaping without him.
Jia Xu's back in Xuchang. He lives a long time, into his late 80s, and becomes the first Grand Commandant of Wei, even after Cao Cao's death.
Keep it up. Why would you fight all on your
No,
own?
no, no! I
It
missed.
is such a waste of effort.
It appears that resistance is futile.
Dongxi. Oh, Dongxi is gonna die in the next battle, unfortunately. Very sad way. Goes down with the ship. Oh, he's trying to do a weapon swap. There we go. We can swap too. Counter. Ah, so easy to miss that.
That did not go nearly as well as I planned. I must come back and try again later.
Well, Sun Quan's about to run away. I
somebody
doubt
even lazier
we
than
can
I
get
am.
to the last general in time. This bridge is closed off, so there's no easy path back that way.
Seems we can't go any further. We'll have to climb the cliffs in order to escape.
Swim. Oh, as long as we don't run away, it's fine. Okay, I'm gonna go back and kill that general, whoever he is. Ah, Yue Jin. Okay, definitely deserves the death. Where is Li Dian? Li Dian is also a hero in this battle, not even featured. And then Xu Huang's here for no reason. Jia Xu as well.
Coming out alone. Were you eager for the first kill?
Can say the same about
You will
you.
make a worthy opponent.
Although Yue Jin only stayed inside Hefei Castle the whole time, but still, you know, took part in the campaign, get part of the reward. Ooh, block, block, block. Alright, this is just still the regular Musu, but we got him.
I must return while I am still able.
Alright, we're gonna escape now
Somebody even
and
lazier
end the
than
battle.
I am.
Ah, the ladder from the engineer. Okay, that's our escape route. Sorry, horse, you're gonna have to die here.
That's as far as you go.
Oh,
I have
Zhang
no
Liao, round
intention
2.
of letting you escape.
Now, guess what? I have it back. I can't go farther that way. Can't Musu into him. He walks out again, he dies. There we go.
My lord! Thank goodness you're safe.
All thanks to you. I'm glad to see you all here.
I can't believe it! They were all over us!
Well, if a certain someone had acted with a little more intelligence.
What?
Just wish we had a second chance. I know we're all capable of better.
Calm down, both of you. We may have been defeated today, but the conflict continues. You have survived to fight another day. If you behave like this, those who have fallen today will find no peace.
Yes. Lu Meng is right. We have come this far at the cost of many of our comrades' lives. We cannot ignore that fact. We must move on, and we must become stronger still. Taking the dreams of the fallen with us, we shall prevail against this chaos.
Alrighty, so after the failed attack, retreated back home. Defeat. Alright, so we refuse to be discouraged, and this is the second defeat of Hefei, though. Three kingdoms. Not formed yet. Not formed yet, technically.
Luckily for us, Liu Bei continues to hold his own at Hangzhong. We must seize this chance to inflict further damage upon the forces of Wei.
All right. I'm ready for a fight anytime.
No retreat and no surrender.
We will do our duty, come what may.
Who is that?
The enemy will be cut down.
Forward! Until our very fangs are snapped! Until our tiger's blood runs dry! Now go! The dreams of my father and brother. It is our task to make them come true!
Of course, the Wei army is the one without horses, and the Wu army, who's known for not having that many horses, are the ones with the cavalry. Anyhow, let's see what the next battle is real quick. Sun Quan quickly assembled his men, formed an army to vindicate their honor. Cao Cao was preoccupied with threats from Shu in the Jin province, was not ready to deal with Wu. Yeah, Rushukou. Rushukou would be Wu's Hefei, technically. It would be their fortress on the north of the Yangtze River, holding a big harbor for them. Huh? They're really rewriting this storyline here. The year should be 217. Cao Cao is returned from Hanzhong after losing Hanzhong to Liu Bei, and now he's trying to get revenge for the Battle of Hefei. So he sends out most of his force, leading it, I think himself, to attack Rushukou, which will be, the Wu version of Hefei. Both of them needs a fortress on this side, and in between is kind of no man land. And this is a pretty well-built fort. Rushukou literally means a gap. It's a river gap, but there's a east pass on the eastern side of it. It's called the Eastern Path. And then on the western side of it, it's a mountain, so it's pretty well protected. This will be quite the battle for Wu. Wu's going to hold. So as there are many attempts at Hefei, there's going to be many attempts at Rushukou. And Rushukou is going to hold for Wu throughout history as well. So pretty great place. And this is also the 217 battle is what will make Gan Ning slightly famous, as he will lead a pretty daring charge into the Wei camp with only about 100 of his private army. They would be a cavalry variant, and they would tie bells to their horses. They would just white feathers on their horses, charge in, come out, which gives a lot of his aesthetic here in the game. But anyhow, we'll come back and fight this next time. So until then, bye!